Hey everybody, on this episode of the Designated Survivor After Show, we are back. It's been almost 3 months. We're going to be breaking down the winter premiere, Warriors. We'll find out with the lamest promo, who took the bullet. Oh, that was terrible. Let's do this.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Look at that. The familiar sounds of Destiny Child can only mean one thing. It is Wednesday night, and it is Designated Survivor time.
Back.
We are back. Sans Oreos. I'm sorry, everybody that was waiting
not
for.
yet.
No, give it time. We're as much like this season. We'll be ramping up.
One of our biggest fans, Tanya, who always comments to us on Twitter, asked if we would have them tonight, and I said that I've had way too many cookies the last 3 days. Need to give it a break. Maybe we'll be coming back to them a couple episodes.
You need a couple weeks to
Renee?
To digest, absolutely.
Oh man,
It's a
We'll
lot.
see about that. There's Peeps marshmallows, Peep marshmallow Oreos out
Ew,
now.
that's disgusting.
But I almost
well,
wanted to get
Michael
some.
will probably love it then.
I do like Peeps.
You're probably gonna have like a whole tray for Easter, no? Like a whole tray of Peeps.
That's true.
Stack them all up.
There you go. And I know you're probably thinking this is now the Oreo after show, but no, I promise we're gonna be talking about Designated Survivor. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
What's up, guys? So glad to be back. I'm your host, Christine Alexis. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Christine Bean.
Hey guys, Michael Clouse here. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter now. I've officially changed it to @TheOnlyMC for both. I actually didn't buy it out, but I got the person who had it on Twitter to give it up. So @TheOnlyMC on Instagram and Twitter now.
Wow.
Nice.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
How much did you have to pay or to convince the guy to give it to you?
It was actually a girl, and it was she didn't use it, and I realized that she didn't use it, so I found her on Facebook, and I sent her a message, and she was like, "Yeah, absolutely. You know, us MCs got to stick together." And I was like, "If that means you giving it to me, yes, I'm all about us sticking together."
Oh, how nice.
So she gave it up for free, and yeah, it works out really well.
Well, look at that.
Wow.
I'm totally happy with it.
There you
What
go.
a great story.
All right, so as mentioned, it's been almost 3 months since we last sat down here and broke down this show. Have you folks missed it during our time away? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think we were surprised by what happened, of who got shot. I think we all predicted that it was not actually Kirkman, that it was his wife that got shot. So surprised. So I guess in looking at it, you know, we thought it was going to be one thing. So like I wasn't like, oh my goodness, I wonder what happened, because I thought I knew. Obviously, ended up being wrong. But from the perspective of I wanted to see how it finished, and it's very much tying into today's current political culture of someone who doesn't have political experience, obviously governing the free world. Wanted to see how they explore that. So I'm intrigued. Yeah, I was ready for it to come back.
All right. Well, Renee?
Yeah, I was excited to see who got shot. I do love that the person who got shot was the person who was supposed to get shot.
What I will like, and Christine, I'll say in a moment, when we saw that Tom Kirkman got hit, we just look over to Christine, and she is laughing. She's laughing at this very dramatic moment of the show.
What's funny?
It was just funny because
It's the blood.
it's just the way they did it. I felt like it was so like Days of Our Lives dramatic.
It was.
She like Alex falls on top of President Kirkman, and they're like
No,
looking
he
at
falls
each
on
other.
top of her.
He falls on top of
You're
her,
good.
and she's like, "That's not my blood." And then it's like, "Oh, he's shot."
Yeah,
Like,
because he thought she got shot.
I thought so too.
And then she's like,
but,
"No."
They had to stick with it because everyone thought that she got shot.
yeah,
So
I
they had to
guess.
stick with the play for at least a couple seconds and then really fool everyone.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that moment was very uncomfortable.
It
for
was
me.
just very weird.
very
It felt
uncomfortable.
very like staged.
It's not my blood. I wonder
Yeah.
whose it is.
Given the way
Maybe
this,
the person on you.
given the way this episode played out, I guess it makes sense to have Tom Kirkman be neutralized, because then you invoke the 25th Amendment. You get to have the Cleese show.
Yeah.
For the dramatic purposes of the show, better to have him be incapacitated than Alex.
By the
Makes
way,
sense.
we got a big live chat going on right now. So if you're watching this, obviously live, and you're commenting, we appreciate it. We love you guys for tuning in and incorporating you as much as possible. Anyone who's watching this afterwards, you join us live. You can join the live chat. We get your opinions and everything else.
That's
Give
true.
us a thumbs up.
Yeah, you can
If
also
you're
like us on
feeling
us.
Facebook.
Like us.
Give us
some
5 stars on
validation.
iTunes. That's
Less
right.
therapy.
There you go. Renee likes to go home at night and look at all the 5-star reviews on iTunes. So
Yes.
please
You
do
were
that.
surprised
Thank
about
you.
Kirkman being shot.
I guess because we had so much everything. Everybody assumed it was going to be Alex. So yeah. So it was.
But it's not a dramatic ABC show if the president doesn't get shot.
No,
I
that's
feel like
very
this
true.
is like just a recurring storyline in all the ABC shows.
But I also thought just like the way that the promo right before the show started, like find out who took the bullet. That was just.
There
That
was
was
one
so-
promo where Kirkman was doing like a monologue, kind of like outlining everything that happened over the season, and he's like, "And now I am the president, and find out if it was me." Like it was so.
What?
You didn't hear that one?
No,
With
I didn't.
Kiefer Sutherland. It was just like it's so dramatic.
I mean, the show does tend to be a little on the more dramatic
Little
side.
bit.
Slightly.
But they said this year, and I remember talking with you before the show, of
Yeah.
what they were trying to focus on this year, or at least this, half of the year, is more character development.
Yeah.
That one of the biggest critiques was that there was too much suspense. And in an article with, let me try to bring this up where I found it, was, I gotta figure out where it was. But it was with, I think they had a new executive producer on the show, and he said what they wanted to do was basically divide it up into three. When they first pitched it, was a bunch of suspense and keeping people on edge, but then they wanted to do more character development, and then also get into the actual personal life of the president. So now we're moving into more character development, and we see that tonight with the flashback of Kirkman and Alex.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, I felt to me an unnecessary flashback. Didn't really do much. I mean, other than give Alex that just emotional moment, like that one beat where she goes, "Oh, is it my fault this is happening?" Like,
And then the warrior thing that they kept saying, like, "You're a warrior." No, you're a warrior. We're
think
warriors.
I'm usually the most critic one on this channel, and tonight I feel like I'm the optimist.
You definitely are. I think this episode though was more about like McLeish's character development. We're just
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
more of him. It's definitely like showing all the layers to how deeply involved he is in
How
this conspiracy.
psycho his wife is.
Yeah, and we see so much of her. I mean, literally in my notes, me and Renee were laughing. I was like, Peter McLeish's wife though? Like question mark?
Yeah.
She is
Really
savage.
She's stone
She
cold.
Yeah.
no, yeah. She's definitely like I feel like she's keeping Peter McLeish in line. Like every other
Oh,
minute he's like, "How
totally.
can I do this? What are we gonna do?" And she's like, "The plan is still on point, Peter. Like we've got this."
Like, we know who wears the pants in the relationship.
obviously,
and
the
you can see
pantsuit.
throughout the course of this, like the guilt and the pressure of the situation really weighing on him. Certainly by the end, where he's just sitting alone in the room, his office or bedroom, just watching all the news reports and just kind of sinking down. So who knows how long he's going to be able to keep his
It's
stuff together.
freaky.
Yeah.
That bedding was very, like, busy also. Like, side note.
The betting was busy.
You're
Yes.
critiquing the set design right now.
That's what I was watching in that room. I was like, that's a lot of choices for one bed.
Well, they give Tom Kirkman just about pretty much the least traumatic experience of getting shot. It's a through and through. There are some fragments that they do
Yeah.
need to do surgery, so it's going to be about 3 hours that he's going to be under. But overall, it's pretty much like the least amount of damage that could have been done.
But you knew in that 3 hours that something was going to happen. Unlike the previous situations where they mentioned of Reagan and Bush 43W of going under, and it's like, oh, he's down and nothing happens.
Although Michael Clouse,
Obviously
you
something's
did
gonna
raise
happen.
your hand to say, "I have a beef. I don't believe I already have issues." You did mention that.
I did, yeah,
Yes.
because you obviously knew something was going to happen. I pointed that out as an issue of like they wouldn't have any drastic decisions while he's under. Like you wouldn't have that happen.
But they
Obviously
did
they
a
did.
couple.
But being that
Obviously, it's a TV
happened,
show.
I thought more would have happened. Like I thought
Yeah.
Peter McLeish was gonna have more things happen than just like obviously pushing the markets to fail.
But they did do a big thing, and I feel like we're kind of all over the place a little bit. But they did do a big thing with Catalan being killed,
Yeah.
which they didn't really explain too well that it was Catalan who was killed.
I don't believe that it's him. I think maybe they found somebody and like there's just a suspect in custody because through that whole scene that they never show like any sort of surveillance footage that they've confirmed it's him inside.
Well, I say that from McLeish and his wife saying that Catalan's dead.
Right.
Which
They did.
I was
get-
thinking based off like the raid, like that whole scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. We didn't get to see the face, but they did have a positive ID at least. So as far as we know, it is him. But it could always be. somebody
I
that's
always
close
leave
enough.
like a little room for a twist where
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
oh, it
Very
wasn't
true.
actually him and like he escaped somehow and then, it's another plot twist later.
For somebody that seems to be so far ahead of the curve, it seems weird for him to go out in such a fashion like this.
I think so.
Yeah.
Not right away,
Agreed.
not the first episode back. Like I think there's definitely more to it because then also why would Secret Service agent Mike go to Hannah's
Hannah.
friend's house to find out more? I feel like why would that come after he's already been taken out? Like I think there's still more to that.
Well,
I
we'll
hope
see.
there is.
So of course Tom's going to be going under, so he needs to invoke the 25th Amendment, which means McLeish is going to be in power, but he's still a little trepidatious about that. So he does have Hook Stratton come in and wants to have a little talk. I'm going underneath, but I trust you. I feel like this is a nice moment between the two of them, where it's like we've I've always agreed, but I know that you really want what's best for the country. So keep an eye on him and make sure he's doing right by.
Do you see that relationship lasting?
Well, they're always butting heads too, so there's always going to be some issue that's going to put them in conflict. But I think there's a nice underlying base of at least trust. I think, and I think where we see McLeish's views of Hook Stratton, I think we get the idea that she is on Kirkman's side. I mean, in the
Unlikely
overall scheme of
allies.
things.
Until
Yes.
the next election, for sure, I think she's not a threat.
I think
will
she's
say,
playing it smart.
Yeah, but she's not the queen of subtlety whatsoever.
No.
Again, another time with McLeish, they're like, just so you know, we're on to you. Why would you do that? Why?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna do something bad. I'm
You
gonna
gotta
let
lay
you know
your
I
cards out a
know.
little bit, though. You can't. You have to apply pressure. You can't crush him, but you have to apply pressure.
Last time someone applied pressure, he kidnapped their kid.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
The other element too is we have Hannah Wells. She at least she shot the window, which at least I think prevented Kirkman from getting killed. Mm-hmm. So she had a little moment there, but then she gets taken into custody. We have Forrestal doing the questions, and Hannah's just like, nope, I'm not going to say anything to you. I got whatever's in my statement. That is it.
She's very leery of releasing information.
Understandably so, though, given how it was the last couple episodes for her, just not knowing who she
Seriously.
can trust.
That's how you get trust issues.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it from a realistic standpoint of like, I don't know how, like, you can only withhold. I mean, obviously her goal is to speak with the president, but would that actually happen in real life or?
In real life, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I think being in the position that she is, she's an agent. I think she knows how this whole process works. And I think she was probably just stalling because she knew, like, whoever they sent in first probably wasn't the best person to get her, in with the president. And
Yeah,
she
I
held
agree
out.
with
And
you.
eventually they brought in someone bigger who she used as leverage. So I think it was just...
Word for it.
It does seem like anybody that has done something for what looks like very much of a criminal act, but is hopefully good for the country. Their go-to motive is like, I'm not going to say anything until I get to meet the president. Because that happened a few episodes ago too, where the one guy that did like
Yeah.
WikiLeaks
Yeah.
too, like, nope, I want to meet the president, share some stuff.
Which is apparently what you can do when he's not like a major politician and he's like a regular guy. Of
That's
like,
true.
hey, no, I wanna meet with you. All right, let's do this.
All right, we'll do that. We also get the other storyline that was kind of dangling too between Emily and Alex about before we left last fall. That Emily had found out that a call came from Aaron's office a couple years back that put the kill order on this that plan, the battle plan, whatever it was.
Was anybody else majorly analyzing his character this episode?
A little. I mean, I thought it was kind of soon for Emily to let on that they knew something more about him. I was kind of surprised at that.
Yeah, just deny it. Say no. Lie again.
Yeah, her character
can't, though.
she
No.
can't lie, and they
He
work
knows- he
so
knows,
close. He
too.
knows. He knows. And now
Still.
I'm curious to see like what moves he's gonna make now that he knows people are onto him, and like just how deep he is involved in it.
But I would think, I'm beginning to think that he is being just set up because the way that he acted when McLeish wanted to keep the markets open and he was so adamant about what's going on, as well as when Catalan was holed up and they wanted to get the kill order,
Yeah.
so that they don't do as well. He was really resistant against both of those. So I think he was so resistant, I don't think he's in on it.
Yeah, he seemed very innocent, just like you were saying with those situations, and just very like butting heads with McLeish. So unless he's a third party trying to take things down, which would be a huge development, I see him as innocent. And
Yeah.
obviously that it was kind of being set up where someone made the call from his office to make him look guilty.
Renee's not buying it at all.
I don't know.
I don't know if I believe that either.
Because I feel like, of course, they're going to paint him to look innocent right now because they don't want us to see him as guilty yet if he is a traitor. So I think he'll keep playing this innocent card until something is revealed big time about him, and then he'll come out, and then we'll be like, oh my gosh, it'll be more of a surprise, because when we see him, it feels genuine. It seems that his intentions are genuine when he's disagreeing with McLeish, but I think that they wouldn't open this up just to be like, nah, he was just set up by someone else, and that's like, who is this other person?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
agree.
it has to be someone backstabbing them that we know and are comfortable with, someone that's already one of the main characters, and we haven't had that yet. So I feel like, is it Aaron? Who else would it be? Seth? Like, one of these characters has to be the backstabber, in my opinion.
I don't know. I feel like there's something in his past that he's done or he's got something. I don't think it's connected to the bigger conspiracy, but I think there is a skeleton in his closet that deals around that.
Okay.
Maybe.
Good phrasing.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, maybe he's just like nervous that it'll come out, or maybe he had something to do with it on a smaller scale and didn't realize it would be this
That could
big
be true,
thing.
too.
Like maybe he did something a couple years ago, like you said, something in his closet that later would connect to the bigger picture.
Ivan makes a good point in saying that they spent the entire first half trying to make him look like a bad guy. It would almost be tiresome if he is the bad guy.
That's true too.
Was it really the first half of the season, though? Because it was only the first few episodes, I would think. Because then when he found that folder, the folder was turned out to be Innocent. He was just getting information on Tom. And then from there, we really didn't see anything bad with Aaron. However, if he was bad, those would be hints dropping from the very beginning of the season, where maybe this guy has other intentions, and then they turned him out to be a nice guy, because right now, even our panel thinks he's a good guy. So it's not that they've convinced us otherwise. We just have doubts.
Maybe our panel's just really smart and seeing through the haze that they're trying to put out there.
I'm gonna go with that one. Yeah.
So of course we got our moment there with Hook Stratton, just saying that I'm going to keep an eye on you, and we never really saw that pay off. If you do anything that's out of line, I'm going to report you to go right to the press corps. And so when he does the stuff about I'm up in the markets, I'm doing all this, like I felt like I never saw Hook Stratton.
That's a good point,
follow
actually.
up on that.
She never put her foot down.
You can only do so much.
She can talk to the press corps.
Yes, but at a certain point, it wouldn't change anything. And so you can't, I don't know. I thought that their hands were pretty tied on that. Especially even, I mean, you look at the situations of her stepping up, obviously with the shooter too, or Aaron stepping up and saying like, what do you, like, no, you take information. Which is obvious, by the way. Another one of the issues of like,
ooh, all right.
That's obvious. You obviously don't shoot to kill. He's one of your few leads. I'm surprised more people weren't stepping up in that room and be like, this seems really shady. Yeah, why are you not, trying to take him alive?
I think actually Kirkman got more opposition when he was in that position in the Situation Room than Peter McLeish did. Everyone was just like, okay.
We need to bring back the general.
Yeah, because the general and everyone else was like, no.
The general would have solved that situation
early.
I guess the only thing that Peter could have in that room is that he is, from their point of view, a war hero. Even though we know that he's not.
True.
But from their perspective, he's a war hero, so they're going to take, at least he's served, he knows what he's talking about, so they may give him a little room to kind of throw his weight around.
Plus his demeanor was super confident. He was just like they're rattling off commentary. He's like, noted. Like he didn't give a crap what they had to say. It wasn't like he was like, oh, I don't know what's the right decision here. He was like,
unlike Tom,
carry on.
who does that.
Yes, and that's how he's manipulated. So
he runs into the bathroom
like,
and
maybe we could do it like this, guys. What do you think? And everyone's like, you suck. No.
So we also get Mike. So before he goes under, Tom says, Mike, go talk to Hannah for me. And I like the interrogation scene between the two of them, where they're trying to keep Forstall out of it because they don't know what he knows or who he's really working for. So just kind of blocking the camera, turning the picture over. I want to help. And then just doing that little scene where she gets to just kind of choke him to pass along information. I thought that was a nice way to pass
Mike's
him
getting
along.
a bigger role.
Yeah.
I like
Mike's
it.
really, he seems like a really nice character. Someone who you'd almost like to get to know more of.
Yeah, I'm liking at least where we saw in the promos for the season. It feels like so much of the beginning part of the series was Tom and the team being kind of on defense, not knowing exactly what's going on. But now it feels like they're going to start getting their act together and playing a little bit more offense, which would be nice to see.
Yeah,
it's kind of tiresome to see them always on the losing end of everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trying to counteract what is happening now to,
or just like reacting. Like they're never like a step ahead.
And for those of you that missed Chuck, I know we all did. We get to see a little scene between Mike and Chuck talking about Catalan. Everybody's excited to see Chuck again. I know, Renee, you swooned when you saw Chuck come back on screen.
Oh, yes. Chuck.
Yeah, very excited.
It was nice. It was good seeing Chuck again. I do like Chuck.
I do like at least the reluctance he had to open the door, because if you've been hearing all about that there's a big conspiracy and who can you trust, then how do you know, like, all right, should I open this door? Does it mean I'm dead? What happens?
Great line, though. What happens if I don't? Well, I'll just break it in.
Yeah.
That was good.
All right, well, touche. Another thing that I'm still analyzing, it was one of the issues that I think that we had from the first half of the series, was the speed of information and how it travels. And I was really paying attention to that with Mike and the information that he's gathering from Hannah and from Chuck. And it's like, how quickly is that being reported back? And I thought it was better. Agreed?
Yeah, because we got that information in one, it traveled in one episode, finally back to the president.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we didn't see it, like, we were all just like, finally, we've been waiting for this. I mean, I feel like the moment she walked in, I'm like, what's going to happen? Like, if someone's going to, like, get her to leave, like, what? Come on. And then it finally happened. She finally got to spill the beans that we've been waiting for her to spill for many, many episodes.
Well, they opened the can of beans. She hasn't officially spilled them yet.
I know, there's the back and forth of, like, I feel like we should start the conversation.
I feel like we should start the
conversation. I agree. Let's start the conversation.
You knew it was coming. We're all like, when are we just going to
I was expecting her to walk in and trip and knock her head and be in a coma.
Oh my God.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Hannah can't give us this information.
We need to go into surgery.
And also to back up there with Mike, I did like when Forrestal outside the interrogation room said, if you find anything, you gotta, you're gonna share it with me, right? And he's like, I had to like Mike gave him.
Didn't say anything.
Nope. He was like,
Not a word.
But
yeah.
like that's what makes him seem so suspicious. Like obviously you're sending him there to ask questions. He should be reporting back to you. It just made him look so much more suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Like, make sure you tell me.
So wait, do you think he's bad then, or just very much on the defensive?
They almost painted him out to be bad.
I think so.
See, I don't think he's bad. I think he just looks like a dick.
I don't know that he's
That's
necessarily
what
bad just yet, but like I'm sticking with the theme of like not trusting anybody. They're interrogating her and she's already tied to so many things. I think he's already coming into this with a negative mindset, like just trying to convict her. So I don't necessarily trust telling him anything really.
Yeah, but I'm also hoping that, because I do hate with these conspiracy shows where just pretty much everybody is in on it, and you're like,
That's the feeling I'm getting now. I'm like, okay, should I trust this person? Should I not? Like, that's where conspiracy theory shows kind of lose me a little, because then it's like a black hole. Just where does it end?
So how would you handle it, Christine? Would you open your heart out to everybody, or would you be very suspicious, like Chuck, just waiting inside with the lead pipe?
I'd probably still be really guarded until now that she's gotten in the room with Kirkman, let it all out. But up until that point, no, I wouldn't trust anybody.
All right.
Yeah, see, I understand from his perspective of being the FBI guy's perspective.
Yeah.
But you have to respect her situation as well of not wanting to release anything. So for his, he's like, you're not telling me anything? Like, obviously, I know there's a lot of stuff going on, and unless you tell me something,
Yeah.
you seem guilty.
Yeah.
And for anybody that is prone to thinking that everything's a
anyone.
conspiracy,
Yeah.
you're gonna just assume like then they must be in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're at that point, you're not innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent, which is not a bad thing.
Of course, the other big thing that's been kind of running throughout the show is that McLeish says, we're not going to close the markets. We're going to keep them open, and everybody's worried that it's going to be one of the biggest crashes. And throughout the episode, we do see that everybody's freaking about the markets. There's been a big drop.
Yeah.
And so, but we find out that this is also part of the plan for McLeish and his wife as they're sitting outside the Oval Office. Like, that's
How
also part of the deal is
romantic.
for the markets to crash. For what reason, we don't know yet.
We don't know.
Yeah.
They're just a bit corrupt.
I mean, it does have a huge thing, and I'm looking at the crash that they were talking about, the flash crash in 2010, when it said that it dropped, lasted approximately 36 minutes, and $1 trillion was lost
Wow.
in about 36 minutes.
And he frames it as very much a buyer's market. So whether the people that are working for the bigger conspiracy are using it as an opportunity to buy a bunch of stuff at a very cheap price, maybe that's part of the deal. Who knows?
I think it's all like just smoke and mirrors to something else happening underneath. Because I feel like if that's the only thing that happened while Peter McLeish was temporarily present, that is just masking something that we're probably going to find out later.
Totally. Otherwise, why?
Because it's not like he went to war. He didn't start anything else big. Like,
No.
he was just like, whatever. Like,
He
the
just
markets will crash.
He wanted to cause uncertainty, I think, and just continue to make things unstable.
Yeah. I think it's all just one big distraction.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, like the impact, because by the end of the episode, Tom is alive after surgery and wants to get up and show everybody that he's alive and well, the country's in good hands. So he does one of Renee's favorite scenes.
Goes up to the window.
That's
I
right.
hated that scene. Oh my
I'm
God.
alive. Don't shoot me again.
Seriously, how? How did they let him go to the window? Like,
Because he's not a president. I think that, and that's something that we can talk about a little bit here if we want, of like the difference between a politician and just a regular person, where they're like, you know what, screw it, like I don't care, I'm going to do that, and he does it.
yeah.
But you also imagine the Secret Service kind of surveil that whole area. That place is under lockdown
Yeah,
for anybody.
it's obviously they make it as safe as possible, but they realize of like the connection with the people, that's important. And so they're going to do it at whatever cost.
No, I totally agree. And I think it was a good moment for him to connect with the people. I just felt like, for the sake of the show, I know there's so many unrealistic things happening, but like that to me was so frustrating. I'm like, come on, you can't do that to the viewers. Like, we just watched him go through 3 hours of surgery from being, getting shot from being in a very public open space. And then the moment he's better, I mean, not even like 5 minutes after he got out of a coma and started talking to his wife, he's already ready to stand up and look out the window and great the people. Like,
Yeah, they should have played I Am a Survivor while he was waving.
I would have taken like a video message or something.
I'm going to say one word, that's Warriors. That's Warriors.
You know, hey,
He's a
we're
warrior.
That's right.
Yeah.
Warriors, remember?
Two things about that scene. One, I would have liked to see if he'd fallen out the window at that time. Like,
Oh my God.
But then the other part too is when he's just got out of surgery and he's still asleep. What brings him back to wake is the wedding ring sliding on the finger.
The magic of marriage. Nothing wakes me up more than a ring.
Oh, really? All right. Let's, everybody remember that for Renee Ariel. Yep. Okay. Everything wakes her up like a ring. There you go. So send your rings over there. Wake her up. That's right. That sounds great. All right.
I meant like a...
Even just the ring.
Oh my God, that was worse.
Oh, boy. All right. A lot of warriors. Hey, warriors, guys. Warriors. I had that written down in big
I
letters.
see it. I see it on your pad
Yes.
over there.
We're all
Oh my
warriors.
gosh, you wrote that so big.
I did because it was a very important part of the episode.
Clearly.
Yes, because as we were talking about briefly, Alex and Seth have a little bit of a conversation. It was nice to just see two characters you don't normally get to see having a conversation.
Yeah.
After Alex has had that flashback about their conversation with like, oh, you should take the position with HUD. That's a great thing. The president's asked you. You should do it. And now she's feeling very guilty about that. And it says that, Seth, you can't be alone all the time. You should, have somebody at home to come to. Somebody at home to come back to.
Seth isn't ready for a relationship.
See, I don't blame him for what he said. I mean, I see what she's saying, and I liked his response of, I am doing something important. Like,
Yeah.
And then she was like, but it's not if you're alone. Like, what? Come on.
I don't think you need to be in a relationship
No.
to do
No.
stuff that's important.
Definitely not.
But like her husband might have been dying, so it was a very...
Yeah, she's obviously
She got
passionate
super choked
from-
up.
She's like, you don't want to die alone, right?
I mean,
Fine, sign up for Bumble.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's very much like we're doing something important here, folks. We're breaking down Designated Survivor. I
Yeah.
think it's important for us to have somebody to come home to. Don't you think?
Yeah, that's why I have cats.
That's right. See, there you go, Christine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You single girl? You got them digits?
Call me.
But thank goodness, Tom is safe, but Catalan has been eliminated, and McLeish thinks, and his wife especially, think there's no way they can trace us. Nobody's got anything on us. We are free and clear. But we, of course, know that Mike has got Hannah Wells and has escorted him to good old Tom Kirkman.
Good old Tom.
Yes. And you knew there was not going to be any information given out this episode. It was just
No.
that they put it at the last possible second just to tease you, like, we got to come back next week.
So here's the question, because looking at, finishing up with that and what we're going to see next week, will that information of whatever their conversation come out in the first, I'm going to say 10 minutes? There's a question. Will it come out in the
No.
first 10 minutes of next week's episode?
It has
No.
to. Yes.
What? No.
Yes.
I think it will. Only for the simple fact that, I mean, even the flash forward scenes, he's still in the hospital. He's not going anywhere. I think they're just going to pick it right back up.
You can't-
It's already been off for
Wait.
3 months. How much longer are you going to make us wait?
Yes.
Wait,
You
you
know what I
mean
mean?
finding out
It's got 22
McLeish...
episodes in the season.
Everyone finding out McLeish is bad, you're saying, in the first 10 minutes?
Whatever Hannah
No.
actually tells Kirkman, will we find out in the first 10 minutes?
What she tells him?
Yes.
We already know what she's going to tell him. Everything we know.
But
Do-
we haven't seen
do
her
we?
tell him yet.
I don't think we're going to see her tell him. I think we already know the information.
Yeah,
But how much is she going to release? Is she literally going to spill
I think
everything?
she's going to spill the beans.
she's been waiting for this
He's
meeting.
saying
for
that.
sure.
That's one of your favorite things now.
She's going to have beans for
spill the
dinner.
beans.
She's going to spill
Guys.
the beans. Oh, the
Good old
beans.
Tom.
Yeah, the beans.
She's going to spill the beans to good old Tom.
Yeah, I guess, do you want to see the scenes of her actually telling him this, or is that
No.
like that's repetitive?
It's a
you want to
waste
just
of
cut
time.
in to after, like Tom's just basically after the conversation's reacting, like, all right, this is
We've
what we
been
need to do.
waiting for so long. Like, I get it. Like, I know what she's going to tell him. Skip it. Skip it.
But you don't get to see Tom's reactions to hearing this in real time. Like, oh my god, what?
Like, have like a post like, oh my gosh.
I mean, maybe in the
Never
grand
knew,
scheme of the story,
but-
it's irrelevant, his initial reaction, but like that combo has to happen, and maybe like you said, it'll just come into like she's just finished saying everything, and
Yeah.
he's like, okay, so you're telling me this, what's next? Like,
Yep,
it'll be
that's
total
what I-
like game plan mode and trying to get everyone,
Yeah, I 100% agree
on
with you.
task or something.
Because, if they start up and she's like, okay. So what I was saying, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
No.
I almost wish that does happen. Just so we can see Renee
they
just
might.
melting
He
down.
said we have 22 episodes. They might
Mr.
just
President.
drag it.
We still have. I mean,
So-
after this, we still have 11 more. We're not even. Now we're halfway through.
Oof, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Woo!
But given that the fact that Hannah has seen all this stuff but doesn't have any actual evidence of this, they're
Because it
gonna,
was destroyed or stolen.
yeah,
Whatever.
when she got in the car wreck and then somebody Catalan took it with them. So now the quest to find real evidence and real proof so they can be able to prove all this
Wait,
stuff.
Hang out
So
with
where
his
do you
wife
think
for 5 minutes. That's your proof.
Do you think so Catalan took it from her car and they supposedly took out Catalan, so do you think they'll recover the evidence there? Do you think it's already gone? Like,
If he's smart, he destroyed it.
well, I would think so.
But
but
I don't think it was with him when he did all that. If it could have been stored as security in some kind of other location and as like backup, like if you guys are trying to screw me over,
yeah.
I have this someplace so that it can get leaked out and then bad things are going to happen. But that I'll suppose that he's been in contact with somebody that, like, in case I die, in case my conspiracy buddies have set me up and I die on this assassination attempt, tell somebody on the inside about this file that I have on everybody. Who knows?
Maybe.
We don't know. We don't know him that well.
And we never will know. Unless Christine's right and it's just a ruse. And the
Which I
real
would
Catalan.
not be surprised by.
I'm gonna
Do you
stick with
think he's
that
still
one.
alive?
I think he's still alive.
Interesting.
I might just be like a silly viewer for thinking that, but I think
No,
so.
I mean, I hope, obviously, you know, he's one of the people, if we're looking at finding out about characters, we have to find out about him.
there
I mean,
needs
we
to be
literally
more.
know nothing other than the fact that he was in the unit.
And yeah, and I think
he's
they're gonna
obviously-
explore that more, like their past of
Yeah.
McLeish and Catalan being in that unit together and whatever mission they started.
I'm very excited about the character development.
Yeah.
I mean, I would consider myself one of the critics who was like, we need to see more of this. Let's stop with the suspense that is inaccurate. And let's actually get down to, you know, what is happening.
I'm going to say that I feel like Catalan is Christine's, Michael Clouse's, Hannah's boyfriend.
That's what I was going to say. Is I'm surprised he's doubting it because
Wait,
he was
one-
all
one
about.
more
Was
time?
it Scott?
Yes.
Wait.
This is pretty much like my like Hannah's boyfriend.
Scott.
Yep, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Remember your relationship with
You
Scott?
thought Scott was he's coming
Scott's
back,
alive, guys. Every
I
week.
Got
I
it.
think
Yeah,
Scott's
that's
alive.
Christine's.
That's the character we need to find out more
Well,
about.
okay, listen. I'm running off the assumption that if you don't see the dead body, it like that person could still be alive.
It's like the rule of
That's,
Pretty
hey,
Little Liars.
That's
like in
what
a
I
TV
think.
Show, in a TV show, it's definitely possible.
All right, so Scott and Catalan can be coming back together.
Maybe they're
working.
friends.
Maybe not Scott, but definitely Catalan. At least
I like that.
I think so.
Michael's wrong. I'm still good. I'm still good. I do like that.
But why even have that plot with Scott?
No,
I still don't
We
get
left
it.
Scott in season 1. Like
I think
This
we're
is
still in
season
season
one.
1. Oh
We're
my
still
god.
there.
Feels like it's been
We're still there, people.
Time flies when you're having fun.
sure it does.
Something interesting that I've been trying to find, because I remember I read it like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, and I thought it was incredibly interesting, is that the actual federal government, there were a lot of people upset about the FBI director, which we didn't actually see Atwood in this episode. If that's something we want to talk about as well, real quick. But they were upset that an FBI director could be swayed to change after what happened with in real life with Comey coming out with the election and making the decision with Hillary to say that they were investigating again. To compare it to this show, that they were very upset that this show made it seem like an FBI director could be swayed. And so they actually wanted to get it pulled. I remember reading that. I'm trying to find out where it is. If I actually am able to find it, it will be on my Twitter. But I thought that was very interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it follows along with what we're talking about of, you know, same political climate where we have someone without political experience in the White House and how they're acting versus how a politician would act.
That's true. I mean, it's interesting to know that in the real world, I guess our world, if an FBI agent's child was threatened, that the FBI agent wouldn't sway. It's like, I'm sorry, my child's gonna have to die. That's pretty much what you're. That's.
I mean, yeah, of like you have a duty, you can't, sacrifice that. You took an oath.
I mean, it's still like television.
No, it is absolutely. But I found that interesting. Of they're like, listen, we're not a fan of this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know. Thought that was interesting, and I even see that. I compared. What we were saying with Kirkman coming to the window and like waving, obviously to reassure people.
Yeah.
Of like 2 days ago, I think it was 2 days ago, maybe it was just yesterday when Trump came out. There was the first group of visitors to the White House, and he like came out.
But like he jumped. Ha.
He came out from behind like a curtain or something like that.
Ta-da.
But it's like where you do that, and he had he even called like a boy over. Because they don't care as much, I guess, about being that politician. And I see that with Kirkman. If he's like, I don't really care about this title. So, yeah, I'll go to a window. I'll, to see the
Did you get that kid
but-
that handshake?
Obama was pretty playful, and I think he cared a lot about his office.
No, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that he didn't. I wasn't comparing it that way. But like, they're more real, and I don't mean that as like in a bashing way of any politician is not real.
Yeah.
But you're always like, they're a politician. Like either side, Republicans, Democrats.
So like less careful, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
So not really more real, just less careful, less thought out.
Less thought out.
That's correct. Agreed.
Yeah. Of like whatever they say sometimes without thinking, which can be good and bad.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not to the majorly talk politics, but I just found that very interesting.
All right. It's kind of hard not to talk politics, I think, with this
It
show.
is,
Yeah,
obviously,
with this show.
With this
like,
show, it's like,
talking about
inevitable.
politics.
it comes up.
But I just see that in Kirkman, and it's one of the questions that actually came up in an interview with Kiefer of like, how do you take a politician and put him into an office and not have him become a politician?
That's true. I mean, that was something that character even worried about too. It's
Yeah.
like, as you said, even with the flashback with the HUD, like I'm gonna have to make compromises, believe in things, or stand for things that I really don't believe in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they made him seem so perfect, like a unicorn in that flashback. Like, I'll never stand behind something I don't believe in. And yeah.
cut to he's gotten shot and now he's waiting.
He's,
So
in
there
the
you
thick,
go.
he's in the thick of
Yes.
it now. So
So as we're wrapping up, why don't we do a few predictions? They saw a little sneak peek about things to come this season. So any flash they have based on that, you want to make some predictions of where we're going for the rest of the season?
Do we get the lights? Oh. There it is.
cute.
Your AfterBuzz
I missed the
TV
lights.
predictions.
What do you got, Renee?
Because of that conversation with Seth and Alex, I see that reporter woman coming back into Seth's life.
Oh, speaking of,
I thought about that too.
Because I don't think they would have brought it up, especially to Seth, if that meant he wasn't going to have some sort of love interest. And I think they'll just bring her back because it's not that they ended because they didn't like each other. So I'm seeing that. Still don't really trust Aaron. And I think next week we are going to pick it up right when Hannah finishes telling them, and then they're going to be like, what do we do now?
Speaking of reporters, 1 second for a tangent.
Go for it.
One other thing is when Tom comes to the window and then it cuts to the crowd and the reporter that's been so questioning of Seth, like her face just like lights up, like, and the smile she gets. I was like,
President.
I thought that was such a ridiculous reaction. Like, okay,
Agreed.
put your poker face on, reporter. It's okay.
I've kind of already said this, but I think Aaron is innocent. And I think we will find out that somehow it was planted. And while he may not be, there's a lot of this with this show, same with the FBI guy, of like, they may not be a great guy, but that doesn't mean they're guilty. And I think that's what we'll see with Aaron. And I see that relationship being rekindled. I do not, however, see the relationship being rekindled with Seth and the reporter. Ooh. I hope he doesn't fall back into that trap. That mainly for the drama purposes of like, come on, how many inter-office relationships can we have in one show?
How is he going to meet someone outside?
Okay, yeah,
We'll wait 4 years and then you can do
Bumble, Tinder.
Maybe Tinder for him.
Don't-
Bumble,
you're better than Bumble and
Match.com,
Tinder.
eHarmony, Farmers
Yeah.
Only.
Just,
Your blue apron guy.
just
like,
living, church.
Church.
You gonna take him to church, Michael?
I'm not interested in him, but if
Okay.
You would take them to church? Is that like a...
you can meet people at church.
I've never met anyone at church.
That's because you don't go to church.
Wow.
Wow.
It got real, guys. It got real.
What are you doing
Sorry.
Sunday morning? Like, no. So I'm going to stick with my prediction that Aaron is bad, and I think that he is going to
All right.
use his chemistry or his previous chemistry with Emily to manipulate the situation in his favor and maybe just steer her off his trail a little bit and maybe get his chips in order in the background and, see what his next move is going to be. I think we're actually going to pay a lot more close attention to him since they keep putting him in our face so much this episode.
Do you see him being like on the offensive bad or working more behind the scenes bad?
More behind the scenes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with that. And I'm going to make a prediction, or maybe more of like a hope that we don't get too much of the family aspect next episode. I feel like a lot of the time when we're making headway with the drama, we get like a touching family scene. Like I want them to just keep giving us the answers we need and stay on track for the rest of the second half of the season.
More facts, less feelings.
Yes, I want to see like things move. Like I feel like this episode we actually finally saw what we wanted, which is Hannah finally getting to talk to Kirkman. Like keep the plot lines going, don't stall anymore. Like I don't think
Leo.
Yeah, I don't think that the viewers can wait. I mean, I do want to like things to play out in a timely manner and have some sort of purpose, but I just want to see more and quicker.
It does feel like I think the producers and the writers have learned that the family aspect of it is not that great. In terms of Leo and Penny, I feel like they really dialed back on that. And we do get one just to kind of remind you, yep, they are still there. But I feel like those episodes, especially leading into the fall finale, we saw less and less of that, which I was thankful for. Because I thought that was just one of the, I think we've all agreed, too much Leo is not a good thing.
What do you think's going to happen, though?
I think everybody's going to, get along, and, be happy. They'll sing a song, State of the Union for the following year. Everybody get down. I don't know. Wait. No, I think Hannah and Forster will be actually working together. So Hannah will be released. Her and Forster will be working together to find evidence for everything that she's found that she lost due to the assassination attempt. So I think that'll be it. And I'll be curious to see like Hook Stratton. I think they'll be butting heads, but I think we'll see the VP trying to eliminate Hook Stratton maybe in some fashion.
Going to the live chat asking what their predictions are, Ivan says that next week Atwood, he believes, will be freed.
Which makes sense.
Which would make sense, obviously, if they have that conversation. And then Clue Girl 86 says Aaron is hiding something, but does not have to do with the big conspiracy.
That's what I'm saying. There you go.
But like hiding what? Does he have like
feelings,
cancer or something? Like something,
no, I mean that's something that maybe he doesn't think is like the most up and up thing that he's ever done. For
something with the previous presidency.
Yeah,
could be.
Well, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. You didn't think it was possible, but we did it. We recapped the Designated Survivor show. We did it, and we did it without Oreos.
Back.
We survived.
Did it without Oreos. I feel like we need to change that for next week. So you know what? Why don't you tweet us, any one of the four of us, and let us know what Oreo flavor you'd like us to have in studio next week. It could be. I wouldn't mind like the chocolate cream or the cinnamon roll. That's what those are good ones too.
Oh, I'd be down to try that.
Cinnamon roll, that's delicious.
Let's switch it up.
It was just National Oreo Cookie Day. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll see I posted a recap of when we did that here.
Oh, I think I did see
National
that.
Oreo Cookie Day.
The times Christine's face was my
delicious.
favorite.
I think I gagged the entire time.
That was so funny.
I like to think
Bring it
every
back.
Designated Survivor after
That
show
stack
is
of
an
Oreos
Oreo
was
cookie day.
like
That was disgusting, Michael.
the size of Michael's head. Like, well, your head's a little
So
bit
you're
bigger
saying
than
I have a
that.
really tiny head.
Sorry.
All right, thank you. That is it for this episode.
There you go. So anyway, folks, tweet us your what Oreo flavor you want us to have. We'll have it in here next week in studios for us to eat while we recap next week's show. In the meantime, though, folks, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks everybody for hopping in the chat and sharing your thoughts about the series in general and this episode in particular. And if you want to continue the conversation with us even after the show's over, Renee, where can they find you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
Hey guys, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TheOnlyMC now. Once again, I will be tweeting out an article if I can find it about the government and how they actually wanted to kind of get Designated Survivor off the air. And then obviously you can check out that Oreo picture. It's a good one.
And you guys can connect with me on Instagram and Twitter at Christine Bean.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Gotta get my gram game going, guys. You guys are already so far ahead of me. I'm gonna try to catch up to these 3. But in the meantime, folks, we'll look forward to your Oreo cookie tweets, and we'll see you next week here for another episode of the Designated Survivor After Show on AfterBuzz TV.
Bye.
Executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.